Welcome back to I'm Still Here. I'm Larry.
And I'm Heather. In 1998, at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It changed everything for us, but I'm still here.
Speaking of change.
Oh, well, I thought today maybe we would talk a little bit about some of the ways that cancer changed me. I think they're all different sorts of things.
Good and bad.
Good and bad.
Or, well, good and bad depending on perspective, some of these.
Yeah, I just think these are the things that came to mind when I go, this is what makes me feel different than somebody who hasn't had cancer, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
First one.
Number 1, hair is optional. So, again, I feel like I've thrown a lot of people off over the years, especially people now that never knew that I would be bald or that I was bald or whatever, but sometimes I will admittedly throw in something about, hey, like, be glad you have your hair, or on the flip side of it is like, when I see somebody who or is worried about losing their hair, going like, it's all right not to have it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I remember it being a big deal initially, and I know it can be uncomfortable, but
the perspective I got from you on that was, it's other people's problem.
Yeah.
Maybe not right away, obviously. You felt differently. But then you kind of just went, you decided not to wear a wig. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of the time was winter in Michigan. Yes, so you wore a bandana and hats and stuff like that. But you were like, it makes them uncomfortable, not me. Or they're uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The other thing I think I really felt was like, I'm maybe trying to make people comfortable for something that I'm not. It's kind of like hiding a big part of who I was, especially at the time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that you feel okay, So I think that tends to be my personality anyway. That I'll kind of push things a little bit, right? But. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I think about it, I don't know, even just like with raising our kids or whatever, and not that they ever did anything really crazy with their hair, but it's just like, it's just hair, right? Mm-hmm. Like, who cares? And,
right.
Good enough, I guess. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Next one.
Number 2. We've talked about this a little bit, but, that age is a gift, I guess. Growing older is a gift. And
not something to be mourned.
Not something to be mourned, exactly. And it truly is just a number. I mean, I think I see that so much in the work I'm doing right now. There's some people that are, in their 50s that are really struggling, and people in their 90s who are still doing great, and all those kind of things. And I just think we put so much importance on age, or we have all these, there's so many things like that people feel about it, and it I don't know, it is what it is, I guess. And we're if we get the chance to age, then we're lucky to do that, I feel like. So
for sure. And that perspective definitely came out of cancer.
Absolutely.
As far as the truly celebrating the fact that, you do get a birthday and you are still walking this earth. So why not celebrate it? And, and I know a different generation is a different generation, but it was always, in our parents' generation, you never asked a woman how old they were. And even if it came up, they would, that was just like a faux pas, and that's definitely, it's not the case that way, I don't think, anymore. But no. Especially with you.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things that it's like, it's sometimes so easy to think about all the things that maybe we've lost, or, like the things you could do when you were 30 or whatever. But the fact is, every year that we have, we get more opportunities to do different things. And granted, we maybe don't have the exact same bodies and all of that kind of things, but we're still here.
Yeah, and like you said about I don't know how to put it. I don't know which episode it was, but talking about, oh, I'm drawing a blank now.
It'll come back. Welcome to I'm Still Here.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll come back to you.
It probably will, but it'll be in the middle of something again.
That's okay.
I'll just shut up.
So, the third way that cancer changed me is realizing that health is everything. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't have your health, you have nothing, right?
You have $1 million.
It doesn't matter.
You could have the nicest car in the world. You can have all those things.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah. So, having good health is just, it's the biggest kind of blessing you can have. And I think we take it for granted so often.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I don't, you know, and I think especially if there's never been a crisis, a medical type of crisis in your life, it's so hard, you know, to maybe recognize that, right? You know?
No doubt. Even looking at other people, I don't think you can truly appreciate until you've, been in the fire, is how you can really appreciate. And that's, I think it's true with everything. If you're down and out and don't have a job and you can't make your house payment, can't make your car payment, when you can, you're really going to appreciate that more. It's when we've experienced the other side of anything, that's what truly gives us joy. And
well, that leads right into the next one, which is like your perspective matters, right? So all of that kind of thing, it is hardship brings you to a point of, oh, I shouldn't take things for granted, or how can I move into a season or a process where I'm grateful for things, even though life is still hard, right? Yeah. Or even though there's been other things. But yeah, I think you're right.
The big thing with you was that journal with that, I think, really kept you on point as far as appreciating the things that you've had. And well, I know we're really talking about perspective, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime right, like that's what all the manifesting and all of that is all about, is really what are you thinking about and what's your slant on that. And I recognize to a great extent, like I'm grateful for my health, but there's, it's easy to slide into like just the day-to-day of things, or, things getting hard. So I think it's always worthwhile to be thinking about, like, wait a second, in the bigger scheme of things, I am really fortunate for this, and this. And when you think about those things, you're able to, find more of that stuff, I think. Mm-hmm. So, right? I
agree. And I did remember what I forgot.
Okay, have at it.
Okay. Well, I'm appreciative of a lot of things, and, like, remember when you talked about raising kids? Well, and you asked the question, which part of raising kids did you like the most? Well, and someone had said to you, well, I like each differently.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with, why would we mourn not being in our 30s when our 40s or our 50s or our 60s or our 70s could be the best that we've ever experienced? Yeah. We don't know that yet if you haven't done it. And, and that's kind of my perspective on things, is I have really enjoyed parts of our lives, or chunks of our lives, but I do think that our next could be the best, and I think you can make it that way. And
well, I think you have to find the good in the places where you are also, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was, it's great to have a young family and to see your kids grow and all of those things, but there's other great things about watching them flourish out on their own and having more time for ourselves. There's, I don't want...
Having adult kids is awesome.
It is so awesome. Yeah. I don't want to be sad for the things that have passed. I want to be, hopeful, for the future, and for the, any time that I have is, like, I want to make the most of it, or, again, just be in it. You know?
For sure.
So, yeah.
Number 5.
cancer changed me or taught me. Again, I don't like, there's so much language around cancer that can be like, oh, it was a gift. It's never a freaking gift, just so you know. Cancer's not a gift. But,
Yeah.
but, I'm strong, and I wouldn't have known how strong I am without cancer. And I think that's
Strong in a lot of different areas, too. Not just I'm strong.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm not at my strongest.
No,
right
I'm
now.
just saying.
Yeah.
Literally every kind of topic we could talk about could almost be I'm stronger in that because of cancer. And I think it just it forced you, but it did teach you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I think there's a sort of a toughness that I didn't know, that when it is just like, okay, my choice is to persevere or, like there was no choice.
there's no choice.
There's just no choice. And even just like, I think about like,
still doubt.
oh,
sometimes,
for sure.
But
Oh,
not
for sure.
choice.
But also, I mean, I think about like even just, I mean, the amount of needles I have been stuck with, or the procedures that I've done, or the
Thousands and thousands.
yeah,
and thousands.
I mean, I do kind of go, sorry that I have very little empathy when people complain about their flu shot or something like that. I get it, that hurts, or it can knock me down for a day too, or whatever. But it's also like, oh man,
Well, yeah, and that's minor. I mean, the needle, that's minor of what was placed in front of you that was just a mountain or a wall or whatever you want to say about it. But, and there was doubt and there was sadness and there was just there's no way I can get over this. And when you did, each time you did, and there's been so many instances in your life where that's been put in front of you and you did, that has to make you stronger. I mean, there's no other. I mean, you've just accomplished things that others just haven't. That's the truth, and it's got to make you stronger.
Yeah, I think it does. It's funny. I don't know if it doesn't erase doubt completely, but it does. All right, if I'm in this, I can get through it, right? Kind of thing.
No, doubt's always there. Even I often go back to professional athletes and I study professional athletes and what makes them tick. And there's still professional athletes that have been playing basketball literally their whole lives and won multiple, world championships. And they're still doubting themselves at the free throw line. Mm-hmm. I mean, what? Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, what? And it's part of human nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think... strength can look like a lot of things, right? But, yeah, which almost leads into the next thing. And it's like, which is there are things that we have to do for ourselves, right? Like, and I think we've alluded to this a little bit different times too, but like, ultimately, it's my cancer. It's nobody else's. Like, there are things that I just have to deal with. So, and it can feel very lonely, I think, and, even though people there, you can have a great tribe around you, but ultimately, like it's,
you're the only one in your brain when you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're the only one there.
Yeah. So that, when I talk about that, it really makes me think about all the other women who like are in this. And I think it's part of the reason that people get, like, especially women with metastatic disease, get a little riled up about people with a earlier stage cancer and different things like that, because it's like, you feel like you just are more and more and more isolated and the stakes are higher than ever, so,
it's so true.
It's, and yeah, and I it's interesting. I was thinking about this a little bit too, as I've been looking at how to like shift my career. And again, like it's something I can only do this for myself. Like nobody else can do this for me, in terms of like, but I mean, I don't know. it feels a little lonely to me, but it's also like we
do
all
you,
have that.
Do you, in the end, finally go back to number 5? You're stronger than you knew you were. Does that play on each other?
Well, yes and no. If people don't like, I for cancer for sure it does. Like I feel like I have more of an ability to like say, okay, I can deal with this. I've dealt with it before. I understand it. I like my, you know what I mean. I'm still gonna get scared. It's still gonna be, but I think from a career perspective, it's different in that I have to have. I feel like I need a recognition. I need other people to recognize my strengths in a, so that's a different thing. I need to put them out there in a different way. So,
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Like,
I think you've separated them. You've definitely separated. For me, if I've had success in one area, I'm able to, I think, bring that to other areas pretty easily for me.
Yeah.
And I think there is a separation for you.
Yeah.
In that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's about, like, kind of for me, I think a lot about what are these things that have made me sort of so successful? How does that translate into something, into a different career move? Or, how do you put these skills or these things that I inherently know it into practice in a daily job, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's interesting. So,
if anyone has the answer to that out there, give her a call.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think really this is. I want to help women with cancer live better lives. That's what I want to do.
Yep.
Make
it easier.
Make it easier. Let you know you're not alone. Like, walk with you a little bit.
Warn you, take some of the anxiety out because of experience.
Arm
anxiety is us not understanding, not knowing what's coming to give. Yeah, it's like, you have this wealth of knowledge and
arm you with the, hey, do this, or let me save you a lot of time, or let me, so.
God, it is, yeah.
All of those things. So I think it is just kind of, for me, like finding out or figuring out how to do that in a way that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So, also if you have any publishers, take one of those too. So the number 7 is I am grateful for what I have. Like, I think sometimes, again, this can be a point where sometimes I maybe make people a little bit uncomfortable because they'll, it kind of comes back to perspective again too, but it's like lamenting, maybe the aging process or things like that. And I'm like, listen, like I've been menopause since 26, or, double mastectomy for a long time. And even, like I am grateful that my body, I have to remind myself, and this is when I know that I'm healthy, is when I have to remind myself that my body has done amazing things for me. Like, oh my gosh, it has really done a lot for me. But also kind of like, it's not the same as other people's, It's kind of, I see you shaking your head a lot, but...
Yeah, well, I've heard this a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the first time I've heard this.
Sure.
We've actually talked a lot about this, and you kind of, you speak to both sides of this together all the time. I'm grateful for this, but, and that's just absolutely human nature. I mean, for that right there. You do recognize the fact that you're lucky
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's many different ways to say what I just said, but you do recognize that. But you're also sad or pissed off, or depending on the day, or whatever, for the things, because we do have friends. We have a lot of friends out there. And you can't help but compare yourself.
Yeah.
It's human nature to do that, and to be the parts that we never see as that part is. They're doing that too.
Yeah.
And we are envious of certain things. We are mad about certain things when we compare ourselves. We're, happy about certain things.
Sure.
And that's human nature that we do that. It's just in this case, people can't see a lot of the things that you are sad about when it comes to your body and the surgeries.
Right.
That's not in the forefront of other people, and they see
sure.
a very strong person in you, that's successful, that's a leader, that's confident. They see all that, and they want to be that. Whereas, you always know that part that other people don't see, and you can't help but be mad or envious or those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's, like there are scars, right?
In fact, I mean, to name the surgeries just there, it's, oh my gosh, there's literal scars.
Yeah.
And there's figurative scars. Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Number 8, life can change with a phone call. That's what I just remember going, you kind of hear that, whatever, it's like the perfect TV drama, blah, 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 the setup for a book. But it's so freaking true, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just true. And, I don't know, like, I feel like, you can't go back. But it's almost like, until that phone call happened, like, we were oblivious. Like, I don't know. It just, there are days in our lives that change everything. You know what I mean? So, and I guess
for sure,
recognizing, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, we talk about, our age and stuff, we talk about how impactful 9/11 was. Mm-hmm. And we think about where were you that day and what were you doing and how did you feel and then what'd you do, and those, I could have an hour-long conversation probably about that. This is similar, but this was real now, you impacting. Whereas with 9/11, I was like, oh my gosh, that stinks. But I didn't know anybody there. Yeah. It was in New York City. I don't know how many miles away from that, but it's a lifetime away from that. Yeah. New York City doesn't impact me ever.
Yeah.
It's so far from my reality. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I'm wrong on that. But this phone call and other phone calls like that change your life that fast.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
That phone call sucks.
Yeah, no, that can go both ways, right?
Yeah,
it can be a great thing too, but yeah. So, I number 9, last one. I just need to keep betting on myself. That's kind of what I'm learning, right? It's like, I don't know.
For sure. I think you need to take the lessons more. I think you need to take the lessons that you did learn from cancer through trial and error.
Yeah.
And able to use those a little more in other areas, because you're a freak. You're a freak. And sometimes you don't carry that over to other areas where you can knock it out of the park in those. By the way, who ends at 9?
Do you have a 10th?
No, but there should be 10. No, there's a list of 9.
let's be different. I'm a little different than the rest of the world. I don't know if you've noticed. You just called me a freak.
Yeah.
I can end at 9 if I want to end at 9.
That's very appropriate, I guess. Yes. All right.
You don't need to say something, just say something.
I'm sure there's a 10. I wish I could think of a 10 right now.
Ways, I was thinking, I don't know.
What ways has cancer changed you that wasn't on this list? That would be something that you could comment. Name a way cancer has changed you. And it could be positive or negative, but we're not specifically getting specific as to I have no breast.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, but we're thinking, kind of those other ways.
What's it made you realize?
Yeah.
Right?
Those. Please leave a comment. Whether that's on YouTube or I don't know how you do that on podcast. Can you do that on a podcast?
Yeah, you can. You can. Turns out you can like them. You can.
Or you can send her a message. On whatever. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Clearly.
Super helpful.
But I have a feeling people out there know a lot more than me about this stuff. But yeah, please.
Yeah.
We'll add to the list.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
We will. See ya.